Every year a new Game Maker's Toolkit Game Jam begins, and every year I get scope creep in the middle of the Game Maker's Toolkit Game Jam and I cannot finish the game in time until now. Yay, I made a game. At first, I wanted to find an excuse to make an online multiplayer for the jam, but since the theme was roles reversed, I thought, oh, what if you were the server instead of the player? And a game was born. So, what do game servers do? A lot of stuff, and they can be used to handle requests and validate user input, and that's what you will do in my game. You have 3 buttons. You have to make a decision. If you make a mistake, the backend developer will throw the computer out of the window and it's game over. So, I started by making the GUI/graphical user interface. First it looked like this because I wanted to use the pixel font that I made a while back, but later realized that big blocks of text were kinda unreadable in that font, so I switched it for a non-pixel font, which made me resize the viewport, which made me resize and reposition every GUI element, and it was a mess. But there it is. Next was to make the actual requests system, and that was problematic. Remember when I said that on every GMTK Jam I get scope creep? Well, it happened again. I decided that there wouldn't be a restart when you made a mistake. Instead, the mistake would branch out the storyline. For example, if you banned a person that you weren't supposed to ban, that person would disappear from the story entirely, and you'd have access to these buttons at every single request. It turns out that making something like that on my own in 2 days was a bit too much for me. Even making the branching system took a while. When the branching system was finished, I just needed to write up the actual outcomes, and I realized that I couldn't. Time was running out and there were too many possible outcomes. I decided to get rid of the branching system entirely despite all the time I had spent on it, because sometimes it's better to have one short game than no game at all. This is why the game has only 2 levels and no actual level system, because I didn't have time to think about how to reset one level instead of the whole game when the server, also known as the player, made a mistake. I also really wanted to add a timer because real servers need to go fast, but I didn't have time for that. When I had about 1 hour left, I decided to submit the game to the jam. When I submitted it, I realized that there were bugs, so I went and fixed those and uploaded the new build. But then I found more bugs, then went and fixed those and uploaded that new build. Then I found more bugs. When I made sure that there were no more bugs, I decided that the GUI could look a bit better, so I gave it a vignette and made it a bit shinier at the center to sort of make it look like an old computer monitor. And there it is. Please like and subscribe.